Hi everybody, I'm Joe Cosentino with Millennial, Millionaire, and recently we've been getting a lot of questions on investing, and we're really looking forward to developing a lot of content over the next few weeks and months to answer your questions. So I thought we'd start off with some of the basic foundational things, the principles that you need to apply in order to become a successful investor. So today we're going to be talking about assets versus liabilities. The first book I ever read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When I started my financial education, investing education, I highly recommend it. We're going to put a link down below in the description, but you should definitely read this book if you're getting started. But he kind of, in a part of it, he talks about what an asset and a liability is, and it's very important to understand because rich people, they spend their lives acquiring assets, and poor and middle class people spend their lives acquiring liabilities. So first it's important to kind of define these two terms. What is an asset? An asset, as he says it, simply puts money into your pocket. These are things like having businesses work for you, cash flow, real estate, certain stocks, things like that. Those are assets that put money into your pocket without you having to do anything. It creates a passive income stream. A liability, on the other hand, is something that takes money out of your pocket, which we'll get into a little bit of what a liability looks like. So what's the objective? As I already said, in order to be a successful investor and to become wealthy, you need to be acquiring assets, not liabilities. So there's pretty much two big pitfalls that poor people, middle class people, they kind of end up falling into when they're trying to purchase assets. The first one is what I call the asset illusion. It's when people think that they purchased an asset, but in reality they purchased a liability. One of the best examples recently was the 08-09 Great Recession. The problem that happened there was people thought that their houses had appreciated in value, when in reality it was just the market inflating and whatnot and pricing it too high. So people thought they had made a lot of money, that their house was all of a sudden more valuable, when it really wasn't. See, Guy Kawasaki talks a lot about in his books how your house that you live in, it's not an asset. What ends up happening is, even you have a mortgage payment, so you have money coming out that way, but even when you pay off your mortgage, you're still paying utilities, insurance, things like that. So he said something about your house not being an asset, and people started freaking out about him, saying, well, the housing market is solid, it's an asset, and people were treating it such, but it wasn't, and they ended up losing a lot of houses. People lost a lot of money because of that, because they didn't understand they had the asset illusion. So that's the first common pitfall that a lot of middle class people fall into. The second one is they have the wrong investing strategy. They may even have the right asset class, but they're investing in the wrong ways. It's pretty much cash flow versus appreciation or capital gains. You want to have assets that are consistently every month bringing you cash flow, having these assets put money into your pocket. If you're trying to make money by having your assets appreciate and then selling them, most of the time you're going to end up getting burned if you don't know exactly what you're doing. It's one of those kinds of situations. So the best way to have consistent income and to be a very successful investor is to have that cash flow. So this is kind of like the baseline guideline that we want to build upon for investors. If you're new, once again, I thoroughly recommend you get Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a great starting block, and you need to understand that you need to be purchasing and acquiring assets rather than liabilities. And we'll talk a little bit more about that down the road. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. We'd love to hear from you, and I wish you the best in your investing career.